Well, summer's here and it's not summer in many ways, including the weather. I don't know what's going on with that. Russ Waterman joins us now here on the NCW Life channel to talk about summer sports and actually Eastmont going ahead with some of their summer programs. Started yesterday. Russ, first of all, tell us about getting things going at Eastmont in the school district.
I'll tell you what, Eric, the greatest thing that gave me goosebumps all day was seeing our kids back on campus a little bit and doing a limited workout. Just that interaction with each other, getting to have that social contact, not physical, but being around their teammates and doing some stuff we did. We started with soccer at 7:30 in the morning. They were out there for about 45 minutes to an hour. We started our weight room and conditioning program with a lot of safety protocols in place that I'll talk about. At 8, volleyball came in, cheer came in, boys basketball came in last night. Today, cross country is going to go do a run over at Hydro with social distancing, and girls basketball is going to just do some skill things tonight. So that was exciting just to see the kids back. It felt right. You just don't know how much you miss it till it's not there, and it just felt right.
So obviously it looks different. The whole process is different with all the protocols and everything. So how does it look different, Russ, with you getting a chance to watch all of that here over the last couple of days?
You know, it's just, the difference, the right word. It's just different. You know, we've got so many guidelines and protocols that are in place that were put forward by the WIAA. Those are also mirroring those from OSPI. You know, we do a screen check on the athletes when they arrive. We do a temperature. We ask them the questions of exposure, or do you have these kind of things like a new loss of sense of taste and smell? Do you have a cough? Do you feel like feverish? Do you feel chills? Do you feel nausea? Have you been around somebody that's suffering from COVID or cared for somebody? So we do that screening check, and then we keep them social distant, even in their pods. So I'll take the conditioning portion of it. We do 4 pods of 4. We have 2 coaches working, one inside, one outside. And then, so those group of 4, they work together within a social distance parameters of 6 feet. They're doing conditioning. When they're not working out, they have a mask on. So we're working on staying with the mask order that the governor's asked for. In the weight room, there's 15 to 20 feet between workout racks. When session 1 goes, we change racks. We have enough racks in our weight room that we could change racks. So no racks used twice consecutively. The other ones are then cleaned, soap and water, and cleaned down. So from that standpoint, very, very different. I mean, kids bring their own water bottles. We're not providing water at practices. We have bottle refill stations inside the building. Just those things are there. So from that standpoint, it's more regimented. It's just not like you show up, put your cleats on, put your shoes on, and go to work. There's a lot to that. And I told all the athletes yesterday in the first sessions, I said, the success of this is going to be based upon you. And that's not only in athletics, but in our community. You know, we need to do our part to slow the spread and do our part to protect ourselves and our loved ones. So hopefully this is one of those things that's going to stick, and they're going to use this out in the community, not just only at Eastmont.
Well, and it's one thing to have the kids inside in the gym or in the, in the workout room, that type of thing. It's another thing, you've got them out, like you said, on the soccer fields and such. So there's a lot of eyeballs on those youngins. And so it's important to make sure that everybody's doing the right thing.
And they are. I mean, I watched soccer for a good 20, 30 minutes yesterday off and on. I watched volleyball. I stopped into all those practices, and they're doing their part. You got to remind them about the social distancing. They're teenagers. They're going to gravitate to each other. They want to, what's new? What's your TikTok video going to be? Oh, what's this? So you got to tell them, hey, 6 feet apart. I know that you like it, but that's what you've got to do.
So Russ, with the added, responsibility, if better word in there, I suppose, with cleaning and all of that, do you have personnel that you've had to add to do that, trainers, that type of thing, or how are you handling all of the necessary cleaning things to make sure that everything is staying sterile as possible?
Yeah, so our coaches are doing their part. They're cleaning the equipment. Volleyball had a cleaning station, so obviously a girl's only going to use 1 ball during maybe they're practicing setting up against the wall. When that session's done, they're rotating. They're going to clean that volleyball and put it in a cart that's designated as the clean cart. And anybody coming new is grabbing one from the first use cart. So they're doing their part. We didn't really add staff. The benefit, if there is one from the shutdown all spring, is that we got a lot of projects done around the building. And so our custodians are ready to work. So we clean the stadium bathrooms. That's where the workout people check in first in the morning. So that gets cleaned from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. The weight room is sanitized and disinfected from 6 a.m. to 8, and the inside commons bathrooms are there. So after session 1 is done about 11:30, the custodians repeat. So they go in and disinfect everything one more time before the second session comes in, and then it's rinse and repeat the next day. That's been a logistic that when you try to apply that to the reopening of schools, is bringing a lot of eye-opening. How are we going to get this done to make sure we have everything clean? And I think we're working on a great plan from the district based upon what we're doing from athletics.
So the WIAA came out last week and said there's going to be a delay of the fall sports season, football September 5th, and then the rest of the fall sports September 7th. We all hope that that actually happens. But that means there's another, 10, 12 days you got to get with practices and everything before schedules can start and games could start. I mean, we're all crossing our fingers hoping that that's going to happen. But what are you telling coaches and players about preparing for this fall sports season?
I'm still trying to be the eternal optimist here, Eric. I really believe that's the way to go. It's easier to pull back than try to put something together at the last moment. Obviously, that was kind of news when that came out from the WIA exec board that's happening, but we'll adapt and overcome and make it work. We'll get more guidance after they meet again on July 21. So we really, from a league standpoint, haven't changed anything. We got a phone call from a couple non-conference games already in football saying, what do you think? I mean, it's going to affect our week 1 game with Central Valley. It'll affect our week 2 game. I can't remember exactly who we're playing on that. But even that game against Mount Spokane, there's going to be some effects in football. There'll be the ripple effect with girls soccer and volleyball also. It'll be the non-conference that really gets impacted. We can adjust and play our conference games in a tight schedule like that. So that's kind of where we are. We hold our breath and wait, but we're going to plan that we're going to restart on the 5th and the 7th.
Obviously, you really can't do anything other than that until you hear back from the WIAA on what plans going forward are. Unfortunately, it seems that the numbers are telling us that we're kind of going in the wrong way, and that there's some spiking going on. Obviously, with the challenges in a big conference like the Big Nine, you've got schools in Yakima that are in a completely different situation than some of the other locations. We read from Jim Beeson here this morning saying that while Eastmont is starting, we are not until we get into a phase 2. We talked last time about trying to move forward, and you were waiting to get your protocols approved by the district and get them sent up the food chain and things like that. Obviously, that happened. How do we prepare for the unknown like this, Russ? And I know that's an impossible question, but I know you're being asked that all the time, especially now with your new position, Russ. Congratulations with the Eastmont School District.
Yeah, thanks very much, Eric, on that. Be careful what you ask for, be careful what you say. But, that new position of working on our reopening plan for the district is, from a COVID-19 safety perspective, working with a bunch of great people in our district, great administrators, and having input on that. It does give a different perspective. It all, like anything else, it's all shiny in the store, and then you buy it and then you realize, oh, there's some more to this, and there's some more to this, and there's some more to this. And you got to put all those intricate pieces together and think of different things. So it's a daunting task athletically. It's a daunting task to restart our schools, but we are going to have to work with what's going on. I mean, that's the reality of this. It's all for naught if we see, the surge continue. It's going to be all for naught if Governor Inslee decides, what, we're just not ready. We're not there scientifically. We're not there from a state perspective. Superintendent Reichdahl from the Office of Superintendent of Public Instruction, they have a lot more say than Russ Waterman, Athletic Director, Eastmont High School. So throughout this whole thing, what I've stressed with the coaching staff is this really isn't the way we've done things in the past with the summer. I don't like the phrase new normal. I don't know. That's just my personal opinion on it. I like to say it is what it is at this point, because currently it is what it is. And I do hope that we get back to what we used to do when it's safe and it's in time. But while it is what it is, we plan ahead and know that we're going to pivot at any given time. We may have to shut this thing down after 3 days, 4 days, who knows? I mean, we're at the whim of this virus and how we're contracting it. And that's the ultimate reality. We have no say. We can't control Mother Nature.
Russ and I both come from a long line of thinking that there's a heck of a lot more people out there smarter than us when it comes to approaches. There are some ingenious thoughts about maybe how to approach this school season as far as the world of sports is concerned. I know you've probably seen some of those ideas. I've heard discussions about, well, if we can't have football in the fall, then maybe we have it in the spring or spring-ish or something along those lines. Well, and the other thing about this too, I mean, we saw what happened with the spring last year where the seniors lost out on that opportunity. Now you've got another whole maybe year of seniors coming up in 2020, 2021 graduating class that might not have their sport. And that might be their only way to get into that next level of college education, to be able to participate in those athletics. What do you think about some of those ideas that are being floated out there? And I'm not going to have you guess on where we'll go, but I know you've read them. I know you've seen them. So yeah. What do you think?
You know, there's some creative people out there. There's a lot of people that are working from a kid's perspective on this. Not necessarily we have to have sports, but how do we have sports? Because of that emotional, that socio-emotional, mental impact that it has on kids. We all know that kids out of school is not a great thing. So people are being creative. I've heard models of trying to squeeze the whole year in between January and June. How do you keep senior athletes engaged after graduation if you do that? I've heard flopping seasons. And if it doesn't work and they're not going to open, you know, move the spring seasons back to the spring where they can have that season again. And now you try to figure out how you're going to do that. There's just, when you open up that one box, it's like that puzzle box, right? You get one of those puzzles solved and now there's another puzzle to solve. So there's a lot of people thinking about it. I honestly have the utmost respect and regard for the staff at the WIA office, because they're taking input, they're taking ideas, they're trying to make this work. They're not sitting idle. They're like everybody else. They're working forward with scenario A, B, and C. And I trust that they're going to find something that's going to be best for kids and best for athletics. Ultimately, that's our goal. But the outlying thing, like I said before, we're at the whim of this virus, and our numbers and the spread and hospitalizations and all those things, no matter how much we want sports to happen, are out of our control right now.
Well, and also the thing to think about that I honestly haven't, and I'm sure a lot of folks don't think about, is it's not just about the kids. You've got the coaching staffs out there and all these myriad of sports that are all of different age groups, that are all of different compromising positions. But then you also have the officials. And I know, coming from the Chelan County Football Officials Association, even when I was a member of it, we weren't a lot of spring chickens. And so that's a real thing to, contemplate when you talk about, okay, let's play sports. Well, it's not that easy.
Right. That's, the thing that we built into our reopening plan is how do we handle the officials? They're an integral part of our game. They're just like our athletes and coaches. We need to make sure that we're keeping them safe. So we have protocols in place based upon what the WIAA released to how they can work safely in those venues. Our coaching staff, I've told them, I said, guys, I get it. So like, even in the summertime, if you don't want to do something because you're not feeling safe, let me know. We'll shut it down. We're not going to do it. It's just not that important right now. We're doing this to get our kids back with us, in front of us, get our message to our kids, give them that sense of belonging again that they've missed for 5 months. But it's not worth putting somebody at risk. So we'll always keep safety at the forefront for those officials, those coaches.
Russ, with the change and the constant change, I feel like we've been talking about this since March. Wait and see. It's a WAS world right now. With that being said, I know the WIAA has relaxed some of the restrictions, and I'm just curious if that's still the case as far as coaches working with players and having that contact, because usually there's that time frame where nope, can't, and then you start in mid-August, okay, now you can. Now they're saying not until September. Have they at least relaxed that so that there's a little more communication going on?
They have. Actually, the drop dead time for summer workouts is the last day of July. August 1 is the no contact rule, where you cannot do any sport specific deal or activities. You can still condition and you can weight train. But the state has extended that with a delay of September 5. So they've extended that through August. The weekend of August 14th, I believe, is that deadline, that Friday. So that's good for us. It gives us a chance to, still work with our kids through the summer. It also gives us a chance to have a buffer. Who's to say our numbers go up and all of a sudden we're shut down. We can't do it. Okay, well, we still get some time on the back end that maybe we can do. So yeah, they have relaxed that, and that's been a benefit.
So looking at the fall schedule as it sits right now, I know there's been moving around and chess pieces and all that kind of stuff. So if we don't start the football practices until September 5th, and then we don't start the other fall practices until the 7th, given the 10, 15 days, we're looking into the, third week of September before we could really see any games going on. Is that right?
Yeah, you're right on the mark on that. I'm just checking my calendar on my phone. So if we go with the 5th, which is actually a Saturday, to get those 12 days in for football, you're going to either have to have a practice on a Sunday or two to play that weekend of, I guess that would be what, 7th,
25th?
Yeah.
Which would be Eastmont with Anchi.
Yeah. Okay. You know what?
Yeah.
Here's the deal. That would just be the twist of fate again. Just say the Wildcats or the Panthers are just going to line up again and start something new or end the season or it's just the way it works out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, 10 practices for all the other sports. You got 12 for football, and yeah, we're kind of under the gun to get that done.
Well, as I mentioned, fingers crossed, my friend. Fingers crossed that we
Fingers and toes, baby. That's right.
Russ, thanks for taking the time as always, and be well. And we'll talk to you here in the next few weeks. I'm sure it'll change by then.
I'm sure it will. Thanks, Eric.
You bet. Russ Waterman joining us here on the NCWLIFE channel.